Hey everyone, Derek here. A few of you have asked me to show you the Lucy dashboards, having done my biomarkers tested well, month and a half ago now. So, where to start? When you first log in, you actually come to this highlights page. It's pretty nice, pretty slick, saying the results are in. Just gives a little bit of insight. They've analyzed over 60 markers. And yeah, just a summary of my biological age, a bit of the context I've given it, which is really, really important. So the survey has been done to help feed in this information. So high intensity exercise, for example. I'm not really doing ketogenic, but low carb, so that's in there. And just a little bit of summary there. And then, yeah, what's my biological age? So let's go into this a little bit further. Um, let's start at home. I think that's probably the best part. Firstly, biological age. This is using a pheno age calculation, so I'm fairly familiar with that. Yeah, it's not quite as good as my normal results here, but not long before done or donated blood, and this can mess up a number of markers in particular. What else have we got in here? We've got protocol. So this will be shown up here as well. The health profile. So this is where some of those questionnaires go. Actually, some things changed a little bit in here. So I've done the food one, but I haven't completed the other ones now. So I need to go back to do those. Let's go back to home. The expert note. Here are the biomarker categories. So you can select by category to look at a certain marker. So liver health, for example, where some of these are optimal, and some of them are just normal. And that's all of the liver ones. So all the different categories, just like that. And then, yeah, let's have a look at the lab results in particular. So easiest way is to go on to results here. And as you see, these are categorized as out of range, normal range, and optimal range. Normal range meaning they're in the two standard deviations from the mean, kind of standard stuff. And Lucy have put together an optimal range as well for certain markers that have them. Not everything has it to have the optimal, but yeah, and then 8 clearly out of range. So let's have a quick delve into those. My cholesterol did not have a good day this day. Basically, what's happened was I managed to have a bit of mold toxicity, and this seems to have driven my cholesterol up about 60% in about 4 weeks. So pretty high numbers, but hopefully it can go down pretty fast. I've experienced this a couple of times now in the last year or so, so recognize the pattern where cholesterol is basically being used to help transport some of that mold toxin out of the body and around the body as to and starting that detox process. My LH is a little low. My calcium is a little high, but actually you'll see later adjusted calcium is in range. Kidney health a little high, or urea, sorry. This is to do a little bit with my high protein diet. MCV and MCH, yeah, these have been a bit of a pain for me. And actually, this is one of the lowest readings I've had in quite some time. This is a little bit, I think, to do with hemochromatosis, but also a little bit to do with methylation. So just trying to get those under control. And I'm actually pretty happy with those results there. And just to flick through these quickly, I don't want to bore you with all of my results, but just to give you a feel for how these work. Here you start to see a few of the ratios. LDL, HDL, of course, is fairly common. And with these ones, you see there's no optimal range, it's just normal. Same with triglycerides versus HDL, normal range. And there are a number of ratios in here, and that's what's taking that biomarker count up just a little bit as well. Here, there's a few more indexes and markers than you'd perhaps normally see. So TYG index, let's click on that. So just explains a little bit about what this is. So it's calculating, combining fasting triglycerides and fasting glucose level to assess insulin resistance. So thankfully, I'm in the normal range. This is absolutely the first time I've seen it being calculated. And down here, there is history. So there is the ability to upload previous results into the platform as well. So those are waiting to just be loaded in for myself right now. And then you can see all the history in there as well. Liver health is all pretty good. Kidney health, likewise. Feel free to pause on any if you want to look a bit closer. My DHEA a little bit low, and this is more than likely again due to that mold toxicity I just mentioned before. And again, with each of these, there'll be in this one you can see that optimal range as well. So the normal is here to here, and then the rest is a bit lower. And then you can go into see areas of work. We'll click onto that a bit later because we'll go into it a different way around. And you start to see what are the risks and the impacts of each of these. And again, the history there. So let's just go back. So other ways to navigate around here as well. And then these ones are in the optimal. So HDL, cholesterol, great. Hormones, pretty good. Total testosterone, fine. Vitamin D on the high side, nearly squeezing out of the nearly to out of range, in fact. So summer's coming up, so no more vitamin D for me for now. And that may also just be messing with my calcium a little bit as well. My HbA1c, nice and healthy. Ferritin, this is one I've struggled with, and this is why I do the blood donations to get this down into range. So this is actually my best ever number, and I've had ferritin tested 10 plus times at least in the last couple of years. So really happy with that. Yeah, and again, lots in here. Go down to the bottom. High sensitivity CRP. So not just CRP. That is often you'll see as the minimum value of 0.3 here. So this is going lower than 0.3 to give a more precise measurement. And PSA, a really nice one in terms of preventative prostate cancer evaluation, basically. And then the biological age, again, just gives you a bit of explanation on what it is. Doesn't show you all of the markers, but that's easy enough to see online with PhenoAge. And then, yeah, let's look at the expert note as well. I love this about Lucy because this is not only looking at the AI or an AI-driven recommendation, but is really written and got clinician experience to do this. It does still, however, give the substitute of this isn't a substitute for you, the caveat, I should say. This isn't a substitute for your primary care provider. So it's recommended still to talk to talk to your doctor about these. And in fact, the medical note here, few values requiring medical attention. So good luck discussing those with your doctor in the Netherlands. I don't know about in your country, but this is not a high enough number to have a discussion with the doctor. They'll say something like, don't eat eggs. And yeah, my adjusted calcium it's fine. My albumin is actually a little bit high, and that's possibly more of an issue. So, as I said, you start to get a little bit more written information and start to get an insight into the protocol that's recommended here. Where am I doing great? All of these things, excellent. And then the improvement plan. And this starts to overlap a little bit actually with the protocol that I'll select on in a minute. So each of these three goals to achieve, and what are the biomarkers that then will be affected. ApoB is a lot higher than normal, again, a little bit linked to that mold toxicity, I hope. Yep, and guess what? The recommendations are, these are things that I already am pretty good at in terms of fiber. My omega-3 ratio is around 11.5%. I'm pretty low on saturated fat as well right now, but yeah, this is where I only actually discovered really about the mold toxicity a bit after I'd filled in any of the questionnaires for the Lucy platform. Goal 2, hormonal balance. So this is, yeah, just a few tweaks needed here. Hopefully, so my recommendations, zinc, which I do actually take. So recommending a little bit more in the way of slow digesting carbs, so I can see more details on this because it runs out of space a little bit. That's no problem. Stress reduction techniques. And then goal 3, balancing blood health and electrolytes. So B12 is just highlighted as being a little bit high. It's consistently high for me. I'm not too worried about it. It is a it doesn't need fat to be soluble, so any excess can be urinated out. That's and actually, I think it's 200 to 500 is a bit low in terms of a typical range. So not too worried on that one. But MCV is actually coming down as well, so that's where in the history that you'll be able to see that sort of thing as to, hey, actually I'm doing well as opposed to so well. And again, yeah, the markers there, why it matters, all recommendations, and then a bit of a conclusion as well. So really nice in terms of this expert note. I think this is really a differentiating factor compared to what I've seen from Function Health, what's in Aware. I've also had NACO test on the same day as I did the Lucy test. If you want to see any kind of comparisons with any of those platforms, let me know in the comments, and I can do a bit of a side-by-side or something, and just a bit of pros and cons. Really intrigued as to what you want to see next. And then we've gone over a lot of this, but the protocol just sets those in a slightly different way, slightly cleaner than that expert note, to have each of those goals set out. So optimize heart health, restore hormonal balance, and balance blood and electrolytes. So really nice to be able to go through each of those. I think the only other thing I've missed out is the marketplace. So this is where there's a gut microbiome test in here. I did this in the UK, so prices in pounds. And that's a pretty good price as well. I certainly have had my GI analysis done before, so certainly interested to do this in the future. And that's about it. If you want to, look, I clicked on that even without realizing it. If you do want to try out Lucy Platform, give my link or code a try. I'm not entirely sure what you'll get with that, but maybe you get some discount there. I don't know. But that's available. I'll put it in the comments as well, so you can give it a try. Any questions, let me know. I'll be monitoring the comments. Thanks everyone for listening. Bye bye.